Alright guys, in today's video, we're going to be testing whether an expensive or a cheap putter is better. But before we do that, we need to go head over to the store, pick up a new putter. Alright, walking into the store now. Alright, so going into this, I was going to either choose the Odyssey AI1 or the Spider 2024. So here's me actually rolling a few putts, here with the Odyssey first, and then here with the Spider. And in the end, I actually decided to choose the Odyssey just because of the feel and because of the looks, because I thought it looked pretty sweet. Alright guys, after going to Golf Galaxy to get this new putter, we're now here at the Denison practice green to hit a couple putts to see whether the cheap or the expensive putter is actually better. So, let's hit some. Alright, so I'm going to hit some small putts, some medium putts, and some lag putts. I'm going to be judging them based off of feel, looks, and price. Alright, so for these putts, I'm just going to speed it up a tiny bit just because it'll take too long if I actually had it at normal speed. But as you can see here, I'm using the cheap putter, and off the face, it doesn't feel the best. It's a little bit hard and stiff, but I think that's just the quality of the putter. And starting here at the lag putts, you can definitely tell that my speed is off just because of the way the putter is coming off the face and just because it's so cheap. Alright, we are now moving on to the more expensive putter. So let's start off with these short putts. So with this new expensive putter, it feels so much better. Definitely off the face. Feels like you're barely even hitting it. Alright, so far I can definitely tell that the more expensive putter definitely feels a lot better off the face rather than the cheaper putter. And I feel like for these lag putts, I have so much more speed control. It just feels so much better rather than the cheaper putter. Alright, so after doing 9 putts each total for each of these putters, I'm going to now rate them and see which one's better. Alright, for the cheap putter, coming off the face, I could definitely tell that it was a lot stiff and pretty hard. That's why you could see I was hitting a lot of them a little bit long. But, so for the off the face, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. For the looks, you can definitely tell it's a pretty basic design here. It's not the most well tried, but I'm going to give that also a 2 out of 5. Because for the price, it's actually pretty cheap. So I would definitely recommend buying it. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Alright, for the more expensive putter, I could definitely tell it felt a lot smoother off the face. And I felt a lot more confident with my putts, and a lot of them were actually really good speed. So I'm going to give this a good 4 out of 5. For the looks, this is really sweet. You can tell the bottom of the face, I definitely put a lot of work into that. You can see the 2 weights down here. You got the grooves in the front with the white patch. So I'm going to give that also a 4 out of 5. For the price, it was $250, so it was definitely a little bit more on the expensive side, but I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Alright, for my final opinion, I'm going to choose the more expensive putter just because I felt like it was so smooth off the face, and this design is super sweet with the black, white, and little bit of blue. And I also felt like I was more confident over putts, and my speed was really controlled. So, for my final vote, I'm going to choose this, but make sure to comment which one you would choose, the more expensive or more cheap.